Hi guys, and welcome back to Macaroon. I'm Joanna, and in this video we're going to make some incredible rainbow colored bismuth crystals. So about a year ago I bought this kit for making bismuth crystals, but I never got around to filming it because my kitchen is so small and I was just worried about having to work in this small space, heating stuff up to high temperatures, and then having camera equipment and tripods and lights all around. But luckily, Lisa, who now runs the German version of Cute Life Hacks with me, jumped in and she offered to make this video in her kitchen. So we literally spent hours experimenting with all the different ways you can heat up bismuth, cool it back down, and how to make the biggest crystals. I think the results look absolutely amazing, so just keep on watching to see how it was done. Before you get started, I definitely recommend covering your working area with foil just to protect the surface from any accidental spills. So these are the items that came with the kit. You get a wire tool, a crucible for melting the crystal, a chunk of bismuth, and some pliers. I've linked this kit down below, but if you want to try this at home, then please make sure you have an adult supervising. First of all, place the crucible inside a pot or frying pan. It's a good idea to use an old pan which you don't mind throwing out, just in case it gets damaged. If the bismuth spills into the pan, then you won't be able to get it off. Now set the stove to high heat and wait for it to melt. Depending on the thickness of your bismuth, this can take up to half an hour, so you have to be patient and don't leave the stove unattended. After the first piece had melted, we decided to add another chunk of bismuth that we bought separately. The trick to making good crystals is to have a really thick layer of liquid metal. The piece of bismuth that came with the kit wasn't very big, so that alone wouldn't have been enough to grow really nice crystals. Bismuth is a non-toxic chemical element that has a low melting point of around 270 degrees centigrade or 520 degrees Fahrenheit. This makes it one of the very few metals that you can actually melt at home using kitchen equipment. However, it's still very hot, so you have to be careful. We definitely recommend using heat-proof gloves, safety goggles, and make sure the room is well ventilated. While the bismuth is melting, it produces metallic fumes, and you definitely don't want to breathe too much of that in, so make sure all the windows are wide open. Now we made a small bowl using foil, so we have a place to put the finished crystals later on. The kit comes with this tool, which is pretty useful for getting rid of any impurities. At the very top of the liquid metal, there's a slightly dirty layer which you can easily scrape away using this wire. Now you can already see some amazing rainbow colors underneath. Let the crucible cool for about 5 to 10 minutes. Now you should be able to see crystals forming on the surface of the still liquid metal. You can pull these out very carefully using pliers and then rest them on a heat-proof surface. The rainbow colors are created during the cooling process, and this is different for every crystal. That's why bismuth comes in so many different shapes and designs. You'll notice that the bismuth also forms crystals inside the crucible, and these will also turn into beautiful colors as they cool. The good part about this DIY is that you can easily remelt the crystal and repeat the process as many times as you like. So if you're not happy with the shape or color of your first crystal, then just pop it back onto the stove and try again. So now we decided to try a few experiments. We noticed that crystals form better if the bismuth cools down very slowly, so we made this little insulation bowl using foil. We also tried covering the top with foil to keep the heat inside while the metal is cooling down. For this attempt, we actually used 1 kilogram or 2 pounds of bismuth that Lisa managed to buy online. This time we decided to melt it inside an old pot that was already damaged, so we could simply throw it out afterwards. We used a fork to clean up the top layer, however we also made sure that we threw this out afterwards. We discovered a good technique of pouring the bismuth from the pot into a separate bowl. If you decide to do this, then make sure you use old containers that you don't mind throwing out. This process shakes up the temperature and helps to create much crazier colors. Then we cover the top with foil and let it sit for 5 minutes. This produced some incredible crystals, and we kept repeating it to make different ones. This rainbow effect is called multichrome or oil spill, and it's similar to the spoons I use in many of my videos. It's not holographic since the colors themselves don't change, however I think it looks absolutely stunning for something which occurs in nature. Bismuth pigments are often used in cosmetics to create iridescent effects in eyeshadows. Certain compounds of bismuth are also used in medicine, which is where the name Pepto-Bismol comes from. However, pure bismuth is definitely not edible and shouldn't come in contact with food, so that's why you have to be sure to dispose of any tools you use to make bismuth crystals with. So I really hope you enjoyed this somewhat different DIY. If you want to see more tutorials based on science experiments, then just let me know in the comments below. I'm also thinking of maybe making videos with gallium or trying to make crystals using aluminium sulfate. You can also follow me on Instagram under my username Macaroon. I'm Joanna, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!